Hi, in this video this series of videos we're going to be working through a GCSE paper. Please do stop the video, have a go at each of the questions, then compare your solutions. Each of the videos is going to be about 20-30 minutes or so. It should give you about an hour's worth of fairly focused revision. If you're not sure about anything, always add a comment. I'll come back to you and I'll look forward to seeing you inside the video.
Hi, this is the final video in the series where we're looking at the June 2020 series for Edexcel, and it's the higher tier paper 1. In the previous video we completed through to the end of question number 21. In this video we're going to look at 22 and question 23, both of which are really quite challenging on this particular paper. Okay, so this is question number 22. Please do stop the video, have a go at this particular question and see if you can follow the solution as we work through it. So what we're being asked to do is to find the value of x, which is this particular part here. Okay, so we're told a couple of things. We're told that the area of shape A, which don't forget is not the whole of this particular sector, it's just part of the sector, is equal to the area of shape B, which is the circle. So let's have a look firstly at the area of shape A. How are we going to work that out? Well, we're going to use the fraction and we're going to use pi r squared. Okay, so the fraction is going to be 45 out of 360, and then r squared for shape A is going to be 5x minus 1, and I'm going to square that. Okay, and the reason I've come to that conclusion is I've got 2x and then I'm going to add that to 3x minus 1. Okay, so let's have a look at how that works out. So if I write in here the area of A, well, as we mentioned, it's the fraction for 45 over 360, and don't forget it's pi r squared, so that's going to be 5x minus 1 squared. Okay, now that's the whole area for this whole sector on shape, this whole sector here. Okay, so what I need to do is make sure then I take away this small piece at the bottom here. So I'm going to take away from that, again, the same fraction, 45 over 360 pi, and the radius of that particular shape is going to be 3x minus 1 squared. Okay, and then really it's just a case of working that out, but we also need to be mindful that this is equal to the shape or the area of shape B. Now that one's not too bad because again we're going to use pi r squared for shape B. We've got to remember that they've given us the radius. Okay, they've given us the diameter, but actually the radius is going to be equal to half the diameter, which is going to be equal to 1 minus x. So just be very careful of that. Okay, so let's have a look at what happens with area B. So with area B, okay, it's going to be pi, and then I've got r squared, which is 1 minus x squared. Okay, so let's see what we've got to work with. Well, 45 over 360, I can reduce that to 1/8. So I'm absolutely fine with that. That's going to be 1 over 8. Okay, and the same with the first one. I'm also, because I've got two terms that are going to be multiplied by 1 over 8 pi, I'm actually going to take them out a little bit and just make it just a little bit easier to kind of work through. So area A is going to be 1 over 8 pi, and I've got my big square brackets, and I've got 5x minus 1 multiplied by 5x minus 1, which is the overall large size. I've got to take away the small size, which is going to be 3x minus 1 multiplied by 3x minus 1, and all of that is equal to pi multiplied by 1 minus x times 1 minus x. Alrighty, so let's see what we can do to get rid of all of this. Well, the first thing is I'm going to divide through by pi, so I can get rid of those two symbols there. Okay, let's leave that 1/8 in place for the moment, and let's start working out these brackets. So you might expand the brackets differently to me, but I'm going to have 25 x squared minus 10x plus 1. Okay, and then I've also got minus. Now be careful of this minus sign here. It does mean that things will alter when you remove the brackets. Okay, I've got 9x squared minus 6x plus 1. Okay, and that finishes off my my big brackets there, and then I'm going to be equal to 1 minus 2x plus x squared. Okay, I don't like it that way around. I'm going to change it, but also what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this 1/8 by multiplying both sides by 8. It means on the right hand side I'm going to get 8 times x squared minus 2x plus 1. Okay, so that's just a little bit neater to deal with. Okay, what's happening inside the brackets? Well, I'm going to remove, or inside the square brackets, I'm going to work that out as 25x squared minus 10x plus 1. And then I've got minus 9x squared. That sounds promising, that's okay. And then I've got a minus times a minus is a plus, so it's plus 6x, and then I've got minus 1. Okay, so let's tidy everything up. And actually, when I tidy everything up on the left hand side here, I'm going to get 16x squared, and that's minus 4x. Okay, because I've got 25x squared minus 9x squared, and I've got minus 10x plus 6x, and then I've got plus 1 minus 1, so that's okay. Let's have a look at the right hand side. I'm going to get 8x squared minus 16x plus 8. And then really it's just a case of making everything equal to 0, factorising and solving for x. Okay, so let's have a look at how we can do that. Well, if I bring the 8x squared over, I'm going to get 8x squared. This is this x squared. I'm going to bring it over to the left hand side, and then I'm going to bring over the minus 16, becomes 12 plus 16x, and that's going to become plus 12x minus 8 equals 0. Okay, and then if I divide through by 4, I get a much easier to deal with 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 equals 0. Okay, and then really it's a case of factorising that. Now, there are a couple of different ways of factorising. If you're not sure, please do let me know, and I'll be able to give you a playlist that might point you in the right direction. But you should end up with something like a common factor of x plus 2 minus 1 times x plus 2 equals 0, and if you're not sure of that particular step, let me know. Okay, so therefore I can write this as 2x minus 1 multiplied by x plus 2 equals 0. So there finally I've got two values of x. I've either got x equals 1/2 or x equals negative 2. Okay, well, I can't have a negative 2 value on this particular drawing, therefore x must equal 1/2, and that would be the answer to that particular question. Okay, so quite a bit of working through. I'll just roll that through for you, and you can stop the video and see if you can follow it for yourself. Hopefully that's okay for you. Okay, so let's move on then to the very final question on this particular paper, which is going to be question number 23. This one actually is a little bit tricky to actually work out to begin with, but it's not too bad. What you've got to recognise really is that you've got a number of cards with a black shape, number of cards with a white shape, so that basically means that there are 8 parts. Okay, and what we are saying is that 3 out of the 8 are number of cards with a black shape, and that's going to be 5 out of 8 number of cards with a white shape. Okay, and then in the second scenario we've got a number of cards with a circle, number of cards with a triangle. Well, that's actually 9 parts. Okay, so really we've got to take that and see if we can make a little bit more sense of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it slightly differently. At the bottom here I've got black shapes, okay, to white shapes, okay, and that's going to be equal to 3 to 5. Okay, and then I've got, so I'm just taking this information from the very top, and then I've got circles to triangles. So I've got circles to triangles. Okay, and that's in the ratio of 2 to 7. Now, as I mentioned, that means that's going to be 9 parts, and black shapes to white shapes is going to be 8 parts. So what we've got to do is make them the same. So if I multiply this by 9, I'm going to get 72 parts, which is fine for me. I'm just going to get 27 to 45. And if I multiply the circles to triangles by 8, I'm also going to get 72. So I've now got the same number of parts as I'm working through this. So that'll be 16 to 56. So to answer the question, express the total number of cards with a black shape, which is this one, as a fraction of the total number of cards with a triangle, which is this one. The answer to this particular question will be 27 over 56, and that would be enough for the 3 marks. So a little bit of working through to be able to get this particular question. Quite tricky. Both questions on this particular video have been really quite challenging. If you're not sure about anything, let me know in the comments, and I'll look forward to seeing you inside the next video.